Hello everyone, welcome to Ansarkari. In this video, we will be dealing with the shortcut methods of finding out HCF and LCM of given numbers. So in the previous three videos, we have understood that what exactly is meant by the terms HCF and LCM, and we have also discussed that how do we find out the highest common factor and least common multiple of a given set of numbers by the very general and basic methods. But in this video, we'll be dealing with the shortcut method specifically of various types of numbers, like finding out the HCF and LCM of various types of different types of numbers, and also in various conditions and situations that are given in the question, which will again help us to solve the questions later on. So starting with the shortcut methods, now the first point says HCF and LCM of decimals. So this involves the highest common factor and LCM of decimals when we need to find out. In this case, what happens is, now the very basic rule is, if we multiply a number by 100, for example, we have a number 0.25. If we multiply this given number by 1000, suppose, then this number will become 250, which means that जितने number की zeros होंगी, those many digits, the decimal point will move towards the right side. So for example, here we have 3 zeros, so the decimal point will move to the right by 3 digits, 1, 2 and 3. And suppose we divide a number by, suppose we have a number 0.3, and if we divide this number by 100, then this number will become 0.003, which means on dividing a number by 100 or 10 or such numbers, what happens is the decimal point moves towards the left, whereas in case of multiplication, the decimal point moves towards the right side. In this case, since we have two zeros in 100, so it will move two times towards the left, right? So the number will become 0.003. Now the same thing is explained here. Step 1, make the same number of decimal places in all the given numbers by suffixing zeros if necessary. So what happens here is, we are suffixing zeros if it is necessary. And also one thing that needs to be kept in mind is, तीनों numbers को एक ही number से multiply करना. It cannot happen that we are multiplying 1.20 by 10 and we are multiplying 0.24 by 100. So this cannot be the case. All the three numbers should be multiplied by one number itself, right? For example, 10, 100 and so on, for the case of simplification. Now find the HCF and LCM of these numbers without decimal. So after forming the numbers, like after we multiply the numbers by 10, 100 and so on, we need to find out their HCF and LCM. And after we find out the LCM or HCF, we again need to divide by the same number since we had multiplied, right? ताकि जो proportion है, it is equivalent to these numbers and not these numbers, right? So here, since we are multiplying these numbers by 100, we again divide 600 by 100 and hence we receive the answer, which is 6. Now the above illustration was that of LCM, whereas this illustration is for the highest common factor of these given numbers, which are 6.16 and 13. Now again, since we have here two digits, now here the decimal is present here itself, right? So we do not need to. But since we will multiply 6.16 by 100, we will have to multiply 13 also by 100, which will become 1300. And here we have 616. So after solving, we'll receive the HCF, which will be 4. But then again, we need to divide 4 by 100. So right now the decimal point is here. So after moving 2 places to the left, it will become 0.04, which will be the answer to this question. So here, since it's given 0.04. Now finding out the LCM and HCF of fractions. Now in case of fractions, what happens is, when we need to find out the LCM, we take the LCM of numerators itself, right? जो भी निकालना है, numerators का हमें वही लेना है. And for example, in case of HCF, we need to find out the HCF of the given numbers of the numerators of the given numbers. And in the denominator place, it will be the LCM of the denominators. And in case of LCM, जो opposite चीज़ है, for example HCF, वो जाएगा denominators का. Now the reason for this is, for example, we can understand this through this illustration. इन नंबर्स का जब हम एलसीएम निकाल रहे हैं, the reason why we are taking LCM of numerators and HCF of denominators is, for example, right now we have the LCM which is 6 upon 5, and this is the LCM of all these three given numbers, these three given fractions. So what happens here is LCM means that this is a multiple of these numbers, which means that if we divide this particular number by any of these, it will be completely divisible. Now in this case, for example, the LCM is 6 upon 5, which means that 6 upon 5 will be divisible by any of these three given numbers. So for example, we divide 6 upon 5 by this number 3 upon 10. So after we change the division sign to multiplication, it becomes 10 upon 3. So it will be 2 and then it will again be 2, so it will be 4. Which means that if we multiply 3 upon 10 by 4, we receive this particular number, that is its LCM, which is 6 upon, which is the LCM of these given numbers, and a multiple of 3 upon 10, which is 6 upon 5. And now the reason कि हम numerators का LCM ले रहे हैं और denominators का HCF is because, see here we have 6 upon 5 into 10 upon 3, which means that 3 and 5 need to be cancelled completely ताकि हमारे पास जो number है it should be a whole number. If there is a residue left in the denominators, for example if 5 is left or if 3 is left and these two do not get cancelled, then the number that we'll receive will again be in a fraction, and which will tell us that this particular number is not completely divisible by this particular number, right? Which means that 6 upon 5 is not completely divisible by 3 upon 10. उसका ये मतलब होएगा. So 5 and 3 should be completely cancelled. This is the basic meaning here. So for 5 and 3 to be cancelled, 6 should be the least common multiple of the numerators of the given numbers. जब जो ये 2, 3 और 6 का multiple होएगा LCM का जो numerator होएगा, only then will these numbers be cancelled completely. And same case हो जाता है denominator के साथ. Here in this case the denominator of the LCM, for example यहाँ पे हमारे पास जो 5 है ये highest common factor होना चाहिए denominators का, numbers के denominators का, क्योंकि फिर this particular number should be completely cancelled, right? 5 completely cancelled कब होएगा? When it will be a factor of the given denominators in the numbers. So this is the reason कि हम LCM और HCF निकालते हैं, LCM of the numerators and HCF of the denominators. And same case हो जाएगा HCF के साथ. In case of HCF, it will be just the opposite, right? Vice versa. So if the given set of numbers includes fractions as well as whole numbers, treat whole number 2. So these are the two important notes. So treat whole number 2 as fraction with 1 in its denominator. So what this means is, for example अब यहाँ पे HCF जैसे हमारे पास हमें निकालना है इन सब numbers का, तो अगर 20/6 के बजाय यहाँ पे 7 दे देते वो कि 7 4/9 और 10/21 का हमें हाईएस्ट कॉमन फैक्टर निकालना है, तो हम 7 को ट्रीट करते हैं 7/1 एंड फिर हम क्या करते हैं, हम LCM लेते हैं 9, 21 और 1 का LCM, राइट? एंड HCF तो ऑब्वियसली हम न्यूमरेटर्स का ही लेते हैं. दिस इज जस्ट अ टिप. And here it says the HCF of a number of fractions is always a fraction. लेकिन जो LCM है that may be a fraction or an integer. Okay, so what this means is, for example, we have two numbers like 1/2 and we have 3/5. अब वो बोल रहे हैं कि जो ये given numbers हैं इनका LCM बताओ. तो to find out the LCM numerators का LCM होना चाहिए which will be 3. 1 और 3 का LCM हो जाएगा 3. And the HCF of denominators, that is HCF of 2 and 5 will be 1, because these two are co-prime. तो जो number है ना ये automatically 3 हो जाएगा, so this will be a whole number. But in case of HCF ये possible नहीं है, because HCF में जो होता है ना denominators का हम, for example चलो इन्हीं का ही अगर हम HCF निकालें तो 1/2 and 3/5. So we need to find out the HCF of these two numbers. Now in this case what will happen is, the denominators, we need to take the LCM of denominators and not the HCF. तो HCF तो 1 हो सकता है, but LCM of any two given numbers can never be 1. वो सिर्फ 1 तभी हो सकता है जब दोनों में 1 हो डिनोमिनेटर में, और दोनों में 1 होगा तो वो होल नंबर ही बन जाएगा, राइट? इट विल बी नेचुरल नंबर इटसेल्फ. तो इस वजह से यहाँ पे बोला हुआ है कि LCM HCF कभी हमेशा फ्रैक्शन होता है, कभी भी वो होल नंबर नहीं हो सकता, बट जो एलसीएम है दैट कैन बी अ फ्रैक्शन और इवन एन इंटीजर.